When you open up XDefiant currently, you are welcomed to a message and then a beautiful rendition of Ezio's family, keeping all the things that stood out about the original. Beautiful vocal performance, powerful chord progression, and then taking things in a unique direction that doesn't feel derivative, that feels modern. And it brings you back to the fact this season introduces modern day assassins. And then it becomes rather bittersweet as a message pops up saying the game is shutting down next year. Refunds will be given out. All content planned for the future is being released. And then one final thank you at the end of the message to those dedicated to the game. This may sound weird, but this message feels rather meaningful, mainly due to the fact that no new players can access this game. Playing this feels like a personal gift from the devs being handed to those who took the time to invest in the game, and for that, I thank them. It's because of that feeling I wanted to reflect on what XDefiant was, or tried to be. What I appreciated was the game's easy to get into the action approach. You can wait in the lobby and mess with a loadout and you're in. It tried to cater for a casual and competitive audience. This balancing act is incredibly hard to do, and at times I don't believe it's possible. And at launch the game had a plethora of issues it was never able to bounce back from. The issues stem from things like netcode, where players will be killed from around corners, and then there wasn't enough for me to really come back. Yes, the gameplay itself was very strong, especially as you get accustomed to the different factions. There was a sense of identity here, but the progression, my god, there was nothing meaningful about it. Getting a character felt so monotonous, which is bad when the backbone of a game like this is the characters. So it didn't really feel like when playing the game there was a tangible goal. I mean, yeah, you could probably feel like you were getting a better understanding of the map or the character, and that can feel rewarding, but there is no actual tangible reward for us as a player to connect with. So yeah, interest for the game died. Players more than likely went back to COD. And you would think that would be what killed XDefiant, but as I think about it more, who actually likes these Ubisoft properties? Who cares enough to actually want to play as DedSec? I mean, yes, I do, but let's stop and think about the state of these franchises in a general sense. People will tell you Watch Dogs Legion is what killed the franchise. Far Cry fans still refer to a decade-old game as the franchise's best. And I understand that Ubisoft has some passionate fans in the Division and Tom Clancy department, but you don't really have anything that will want to bring these players here. The point I'm trying to make here is that these franchises doesn't hold a passionate or dedicated fan base of a Nintendo or a Marvel, and this game does rely on their franchise appeal to market it. And keep in mind, getting these characters was a snail's pace. The content drops themselves even more so. While I don't think every game in the world needs to be crazy with its content drops, the game needs to make money and stay relevant somehow. And there barely actually was anything new from the beta to launch. In fact, things like the firing range had certain limitations that wasn't present in the beta. XDefiant marketed itself as this transparent community feedback based game. But as time went on, there is a clear disconnect between the devs and the player base. The devs seem to be very ambiguous and I would say weren't the most professional or clear, just tweets here and there. You know, with how most games there's just things like blog posts that showcase what they're working on, or, you know, basic feedback that is more tangible and easy to document what they're doing. And then eventually the devs kind of went silent. And then combined with all the different things the game's lacking in terms of content, communication, and just a reason for the casual player to play the game. Plus games like COD coming for free on Game Pass as well. You are basically just a sinking ship, and the devs were no doubt hard at work on plenty of content. With Season 3, they just dropped content that was planned up to Season 8, and that really shows how passionate they were to making something great. I honestly see this game's death as just another reminder of all the poor decisions Ubisoft has made now coming more to the light. I'm not an industry expert or insider, but with the last 2 years or so, I can't help but notice that some of these people higher up at Ubisoft are really full of shit, or just full of themselves entirely. Incredibly ignorant is probably the more accurate and more respectful word. Whether it be through certain marketing decisions, how they choose to respond to the hundreds of Ubisoft employees' own criticisms or fears of working for them, I feel this wake-up call is long overdue. It's a shame as there is real talent at Ubisoft. If I felt this update was bad, I wouldn't make a video on it, so I guess let's get into it. I haven't played for some time, but everything feels as good, if not better, than when I played during the summer. Guns have distinct kick. The attachments felt impactful. Characters feel distinct. But of course, with this season, the assassins dropped. I honestly didn't think they would do them justice, but my god, this actually works. Starting with the design, it's a sick modernized look that isn't too dramatic and also has some subtleness within it. It honestly just makes me think of Altair but in the modern day. And their kit is just oozing with personality. The hidden blade is represented with such respect here. It is a melee that one hit kills, but it's a bit slower than the basic one you have, so seizing the right opportunity feels so good. So it makes sense to get behind enemies. So it rewards learning the map, learning its flanking routes. The hidden blade isn't gimmicky, there is actual thought and mastery to be had when using it, which I love. Each character in XDefiant has two character-specific abilities. The assassin specifically, first one is the cherry bomb that can stun and blind enemies for a very long period of time, which works well as ways to disrupt enemies on objective points. Then there is eagle vision, which highlights enemies in red or yellow if they are like bounties or something, which is a nice touch, and you can actually see the trail of that they leave behind, which is just so cool, man. And then the assassins have the Piece of Eden as an ultimate. Once fully charged, you have a limited time to use it and be able to lock on and teleport behind an enemy. Because of how slow but powerful this ultimate is, it rewards actual thinking when using it, which I think is very representative of what the assassins should be doing. I also wanted to take a moment to highlight the little features of hearing the assassination noise when getting a kill, or having the comms being from the modern day character Rebecca. Just some deep cuts fans like myself appreciate. This update came with Assassin's Creed maps, but it's weird as they have Odyssey, which makes no sense as I'm pretty sure Odyssey wasn't an Assassin's Creed game, but I don't know, maybe that's just me. And then Assassin's Creed Valhalla, obviously. Which I get, they are perhaps easier to port due to how recent they were made, but you can't tell me seeing Florence or something being remade or recontextualized in this modern game would have been the coolest. Beyond the Assassin's Creed content, the game also dropped everything. Everything developed up to Season 8. Guns, factions, maps. The maps being a highlight as they just have such unique personality. The Enchanted Forest based on Raymond is sick as it has you go on trees, jump from place to place. Decent verticality, which makes me wonder why we didn't have more rooftop warfare designed for the Assassin's Creed maps, but I digress. It does feel like the game is ending off with a bang with all the content. Some of it isn't finished, like the new guns and characters that just feels unbalanced at times, but it's just there for the community to play and have fun with, which is the intention of this game, to kind of make you push for that one game mentality that doesn't make you depressed as you have to deal with certain matchmaking BS. But I feel depressed now. As like, damn. Seeing all that they had cooking was really eye-opening to show how much care they wanted to put into this game. But of course, it was hindered by persistent issues like netcode, not really a player-friendly approach to progression, and no doubt, Ubisoft themselves. It's apparent to me that with games like Avatar, Star Wars underperforming, and a company very apparently so needing to do some self-reflecting, it's relying on Assassin's Creed, which got delayed to 2025. That delay cost them millions. It's because of these business decisions where beloved games like Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown wasn't given a proper chance to grow or be appreciated. Like, why the fuck did you not release it on Steam? And as I'm writing this, the depression I have becomes anger or regression, as this game that's meant to be a celebration of these different Ubisoft franchises is honestly a beautiful lamination of how that passion is being snuffed out at Ubisoft. A cry for help, if anything, and I hope to amplify that voice. Ubisoft didn't shut the game down because of low player numbers. It was a business decision due to losses in this year of 2024. It's a fucking shame that people have to go home on the holidays, not being able to relax, but scrambling trying to find out what's next for themselves. It's a shame that another studio at Ubisoft that tried to push for something unique, something that wasn't entirely derivative of other games, barely got a walking start. It crawled for 6 months. It's a shame this game was born into an industry that doesn't always know how to treat their developers and respect creativity, but base their business decisions on deadlines and investors. Ubisoft's way out is to be bought out by Tencent supposedly, and the ones that suffer the most is those who are forced to work under one bad decision to the next, made by people so out of touch with the process of game development. A shame is what XDefiant is, a crying shame. But damn, it's kind of beautiful. Thanks for watching.